In this tutorial, we'll show you how to optimize your home search so you can find the home that's right for you. The key is to get in touch with what you really want, and this can be challenging because as a home buyer, when you're subjected to the commotion of all the decisions that need to be made, getting in touch with what you really want in a home can be drowned by all the noise. So it's smart to take a very emotional process and break it down into very rational action steps and written lists. Remember the old Chinese proverb, "A piece of paper never forgets"? Begin by making a wish list, a must-have list, and a must-not-have list. The wish list will contain things that you would prefer to have but could live without. The must-have list contains features that you just can't be without if you're buying a home. What kinds of things might end up on your must-have list? Being close to work and a particular school, or having a fourth bedroom because you've got 3 teenage kids, for example. If you have a disabled or elderly family member moving in, a single-story home could be a must. Things commonly seen on wish lists are a corner lot, gated community, pool, fireplace, or bedroom balcony. Before you jump in the car to go looking at homes with your real estate agent, go over your lists with him or her. As much as you focus on the things that are on your wish list and must-have list, don't overlook some things that could become a problem. Put them on your must-not-have list. Things one home buyer can't live with are often tolerable for another. Just be certain about what works for you. Here are some concerns that might end up on a must-not-have list. Do several neighbors have outdoor dogs that bark at night? If you work from home, will barking dogs be something you can contend with? Does the home back up to a shopping center or a busy street with traffic? If you're in a cold climate such as Minnesota, will a home without a fireplace be okay? Homes with tiny bedroom closets and a small master bedroom may become difficult to resell. If the home is close to the beginning of a block, there may be heavy traffic. Does the lot sit in a spot that catches the bright lights as cars turn onto the street? A home on a steep driveway can create a hazard during icy winters. Is the home you're considering the biggest on the block, possibly overbuilt for the area? While exploring the neighborhood, do you see cars driving very fast on private streets where kids play? Is there a sex offender living across the street? Are you ready to deal with the consequences of buying a home in a floodplain? Aside from the added expense of flood insurance that your lender will impose, flooding may happen during heavy rain or when a river overflows, for example. If you're buying with a significant other like a spouse, boyfriend, or girlfriend, each of you should make your own list independently and then come together to compare. This helps you be honest about your likes and dislikes without feeling pressured or influenced by the other. Arriving at your final master lists will involve some give and take. Don't forget to ask your kids about their input also. As you prepare your lists, be flexible and willing to amend them. Unless you have endless financial pockets, you're going to need to compromise here and there. This is especially true if you're buying at the high end of your maximum mortgage pre-approval amount. When you go house hunting, you'll be making choices within 3 categories. 1. Location. 2. Neighborhood or community. 3. Style and size of home. Let's look at location first. Consider the proximity to schools, public transportation, gymnasiums, post offices, parks, freeways, and senior services, for example. What are the local school rates like? If you're dead set on a particular school district, make sure you're clear on which streets mark off that school district. How is the crime rate in the area? Secondly, the neighborhood or community you're buying in. Remember, you're not just buying the house, your neighbors come with it. You can change just about everything to do with a house, including its design, floor plan, and colors. But you can't very well change the neighborhood itself. It is what it is and will probably remain that way long after you're gone. Ask what community will fit your daily lifestyle. Do you want the peace and quiet of a rural community or a more urban setting that puts you close to all the action? Do you want an older, more seasoned neighborhood or a newer one? The local Chamber of Commerce and places of worship are good sources to tap into for finding out about community resources. Give some thought also to traffic, noise levels, airplanes flying overhead, and possible smell from a nearby dairy farm, for example. Drive around and stop to talk to neighbors. They can give up valuable information that won't cost you a dime. We've considered the location of a home and the type of neighborhood or community it's in. Thirdly, but definitely not lastly, decide on what features you want in the home itself. This includes its size and style. Let's begin by looking at the outside of a home, paying attention to what it's built out of and the exterior siding. Whereas brick is universally accepted throughout most of the country, stucco, for example, is best suited to some areas and not others. It's fireproof, seamless, and easily repaired, but in climates like the north where the weather changes a lot, cracking can be a problem. Vinyl and aluminum siding have advantages. Aluminum, for example, is fireproof, waterproof, lightweight, and insulates better than vinyl. It also doesn't attract termites like wood siding might. Although pricier, stone siding is not only waterproof and fireproof, but it gives a great look and will keep the inside of your home cooler during summer months. While you are still contemplating the outside of your home, imagine that home in good and bad weather, as well as in each of the 4 seasons. Is there a steep driveway? If so, how dangerous and inconvenient would it be during an icy winter? Is it on a hill? If so, would heavy rains create a mudslide? Look at how the house sits on the lot. Does it have a view or a walkout basement, for example? Are neighbors able to easily peer into your kitchen or bathroom? Don't forget to consider the age of a home. Do you prefer an older home that's probably available at a lower price, or a newer one that will demand less repair and maintenance? Some buyers look for the flavor and character of an older home, while others prefer the modern conveniences of a newer one. If you are leaning towards older, beware of poor energy efficiency due to outdated heating, cooling, and insulation systems. Older homes also tend to have less storage space and be somewhat cramped when it comes to closet and kitchen room. Speaking of size and space, decide how many bedrooms and bathrooms you'll need and whether any of these need to be downstairs to accommodate certain guests, for example. If there's an extra room, would you turn it into a bedroom, office, or recreation room? As you walk through the home, ask yourself whether there's enough room not only for the present, but also for the future. Will there be additions to your family requiring more space, or will kids be growing up and vacating, leaving you an empty nest? Here are some additional questions you might ask. Will the furniture I have fit, or will I need to replace it? Do I like the floor plan? If not, can I change something about what I see? Is there enough storage space? Is the yard big enough for pets to roam, kids to play, and guests to be entertained? Will I need new appliances, or does the home come with them? Is the home well lit, or a little dingy even when all the curtains are open? Does anything need to be repaired or replaced? Trashed carpets or worn-out appliances may mean you have additional expenses coming up. We couldn't possibly discuss house hunting without touching on the kitchen. It is, after all, an all-important focal point in the home search, and many a home's viewing has come to a sudden end with the words, "Honey, I don't like the kitchen." Decide ahead of time if a kitchen island is essential and how you feel about countertops, counter space, and cabinet room. Most sellers expect that a buyer will eventually remodel or update a kitchen to their own liking, so don't let an outdated one be a deal killer. On the contrary, a shining kitchen with the most advanced features may not be practical if there's not enough room for you to prepare meals. Don't be afraid to pantomime the act of preparing your meal to see if there's enough room. A rule of thumb is 15 inches of counter space on both sides of the cooktop. Some features of a home have nothing to do with how it looks, but can affect you financially. Consider the property tax rate and whether there's an HOA or not. These topics are covered extensively in some of our other tutorials. Remember, newer homes usually carry higher tax rates. The actual acts of searching for and looking at homes can be greatly facilitated by your real estate agent. Sure, plenty of internet websites offer lists of homes with detailed information, but when it comes to viewing, there's nothing like being shown a home. Your agent will often notice things about the home, both good and bad, an untrained eye may overlook. Besides, it's safer. Having said this, there's no harm in taking a Sunday afternoon drive to get to know the ambiance of a neighborhood, possibly meet neighbors, or even look for telltale signs of trouble. How many homes should you look at before choosing one? There's no right answer to this since it all depends on your timeline. There's no rush and no limit. It's not uncommon for buyers to view 10 to 15 homes or more before they choose one to make an offer on. And yet many buyers have settled on a home after one car ride with their real estate agent. A word of caution: be respectful of your real estate agent by carefully planning your viewings. It's unfair and unproductive to pursue every yard sign at a whim, not knowing whether a home is even active or pending on the market. When you're viewing 10, 20, 30 homes or more, your mind can begin to blend things together, making it easy to forget which detail belongs to which home. For this reason, as you go from home to home, it's best to have clipboard and paper with you so you can jot down your thoughts, likes and dislikes. If at all possible, take a digital camera or handheld camcorder, and for each clip you record, begin by speaking the address of the home. You can take it one step further if you have a smartphone such as an iPhone or Android. For these, there are free or low-cost applications that can make house hunting easier by simplifying the technique for keeping track of things. For iPhone users, Cool Igloo is very popular, while for Android users, House Hunt will help with remembering the properties you have seen and how you rated them. With House Hunt, you can 1. Rate each property. 2. Take a photo of the house and each room if required. 3. Add the rooms and what is included in the rooms. 4. View the property location on a map. 5. Customize for your use to store additional information. 6. Print and forward a spreadsheet to your computer for easy access. 7. Add your own notes. Remember, these apps also work on tablets such as Apple's iPad and Android's Galaxy, for example. As we conclude the subject of viewing homes, it's important to note that house hunting is best done when all the decision makers are present together. This avoids wasting precious time, both yours and your agent's, looking at homes that don't stand a chance with one decision maker or another. In closing, remember to consider all your options when it comes to the type of dwelling you choose to live in. The majority of homes bought these days are stick-built single-family properties. But even for first-time home buyers, there's definitely something to be said for condos, townhomes, manufactured homes, and multifamily properties such as duplexes and triplexes. The topic of condos is covered extensively in another tutorial, together along with homeowner associations. So let's turn our attention to manufactured housing and some of its advantages. Depending on where in the country you're buying, the construction cost of a manufactured home is about 25 to 35% less than that of a site-built one. So typically you'll spend less than you would for a site-built home of the same square footage. Contrary to popular belief, you don't have to sacrifice in terms of floor plans or other interior features. Manufactured housing these days can come with fully equipped kitchens, fireplaces, walk-in closets, and bathrooms with recessed tubs and whirlpools. Awnings, patio covers, decks, and site-built garages are also available. As the U.S. real estate economy completes its recovery from several years of recession, more and more home buyers are turning to manufactured housing as a more affordable alternative without giving up style, quality, and comfort. Although conventional financing options have tightened up for manufactured housing, FHA and VA mortgages are still readily available with low down payments, and USDA financing is attainable if the manufactured home is purchased new from an approved dealer to be permanently affixed on land for the first time. Standing shoulder to shoulder with manufactured housing as a sound alternative to stick-built single-family housing is multifamily housing. FHA and VA financing still have low or zero down payment options for homebuyers who intend to occupy one of the units and rent out the other units. The most obvious advantage for you as a homebuyer is the ability to lower the overall out-of-pocket expense of your housing payment using rental income from the tenants. You can develop equity faster if you apply all of the tenant's payments to principal while you handle the entire mortgage payment yourself. This is feasible because mortgage underwriting guidelines typically force you to qualify for the entire payment without using rental income anyway. There are some hidden tax benefits also. For example, whereas the expense of putting a new roof on a single-family owner-occupied home can only be written off at the time of resale, with a duplex you get to write off 50% of the cost against the tax year of installation. Although there are apparent financial benefits of buying a duplex or threeplex, you should carefully consider whether becoming an instant landlord and sharing with a neighbor a wall and maybe even a driveway is something for you. Thank you for watching, and be sure to contact the featured real estate professional who provided you with this valuable video tutorial.